Yes. Okay. It's live. Yay. Finally. Oh, okay. Finally. Okay. So should we wait to sort of say something or start? Tell some people.
Yeah, let's just chit chat, I guess, and hopefully, uh, people will see the link. I hope it's the right link. Oh my
I
gosh, this
know.
has been such a nightmare.
I hope I did too. I know. I feel like we had people, and then after an hour, it was like, okay, I'm coming. Like technical difficulties. Oh,
Okay,
I might.
yeah.
I might be calling Google after this to complain.
Oh man.
Oh, okay, well, besides all this, how was your day so far?
It has been great. I had some coffee.
I have some behind me.
Nice.
Yeah, it got cold though, so
Oh no.
I didn't want to leave to go to the microwave in case something happened, but I was like, I can't drink cold coffee.
Well, if you put ice in it, then it's like iced coffee.
Iced coffee. I tried that once. I got like my blender out and everything. Because have you ever been to CC's, or is that just like a very southern thing?
Is that a restaurant or a cafe?
It's a coffee. It's community coffee, but I think it's a very southern thing. It's not like Starbucks where it's sort of like everywhere,
Right.
like only in the South. But I can't do Starbucks. It's like it's my favorite. I don't know why. Maybe that's southern in me, but they have this thing called a turtle mocha sippy, and it has like chocolate and all that. It's delicious, and I tried making it and it just failed.
I'm not good at recreating complicated coffee drinks at home.
Me either.
I can brew some decent coffee, but anything more
Yeah.
complicated than adding sugar and milk just gets crazy.
My mom got me addicted to those flavored coffee creamers that you pour in, so I can't even drink regular coffee now. It has to have like cookie dough or something. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, but so good.
I know. Until you look at the sugar count on the back, and I'm like,
I know it's bad, but I can't help it.
I know. It's my favorite thing. I think I had somebody tell me I was pouring it in there, like, that's like the second worst food to like eat, said by scientists or something. I was like, well, that's not. Yeah, don't leave me alone. That's not what I want to hear as I'm like drinking the coffee. Oh.
Let's see. Okay, I added the new link to Facebook, so that's good. Or at least I think I did.
Yeah, I tweeted it. Let me try going post it on my other account. Such an idiot. Okay.
And you get notifications when people join and stuff, right?
I should. Yeah, there was a little thing on the bottom that I think every time you and I would like join it, it would tell me, and then when you got out or disconnected, it said like 0 again.
Oh,
so
okay.
It'll start telling me, I believe.
Sweet.
I wanted to have a copy of the book behind me, but I lent it out to somebody. And they have it right now, and I couldn't get it back in time. But they said
I'm glad that someone's reading it instead of threw it away or burned it or something like that.
I've had I had a friend I lent a book to. I watched her like shove it into her backpack, and of course it's paperback, so everything just like crumbled, and I had to watch it. I was like, oh my god. I know. I was like, now I know to never lend you out the book again.
Yes. You can borrow my ebooks. I can't touch those.
Yeah, I'll send you those. Okay, why is it? Did I spell it wrong? Yes, I did. Okay, and my stupid spelling. But she said she really loved it. Really enjoyed it. I was excited about that. My mom said she wants to read it soon, so I was like, yeah, everyone, go ahead. Everyone should read it.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Yes. Oh, sorry.
I was too busy staring at the phone to. Okay. Well, I can go get the link from Twitter. Okay. Hopping from several social media stresses me out.
Yep. Theoretically, my friend Troy Rudolph has just joined us.
Okay, let me see. It's still saying 0. Do I need to refresh it, or will it just ruin everything and we'll have to start over?
Oh, I wouldn't dare.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try. Okay, I wonder.
Maybe you don't have to actually join in order to view it. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
has many mysteries.
I see one now. Okay.
Yay! Hi, Troy.
Well, I'm doing it through Instagram, but I'm wondering if they'll let them actually, like, use the link. They could type it in. It's fine.
Yeah.
You guys have fun typing that.
I wonder if it'll. Let me see if it'll mess it up too much. If I.
Maybe I'll try contacting those people that had tried to come, like, directly. Beth, Catherine, and ninth.
I'm not gonna. My computer's gonna freak out if I do that.
Not taking any risk.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's down to 0 again.
Mm-mm.
I swear we're coming, guys. Don't leave. Oh, okay. I'll wait and see what happens. Oh.
Give it maybe 2 more minutes, and then I think we can. Since this.
Oh no, I was doing 1. Somebody came.
Oh, yay! Since this records, we can also, just continue with the questions, and people can watch it later too. So
Yeah,
that's also an option.
we can do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna post it one more place, and then let's maybe start.
Okay, sounds good. I figured before we start, I should get my fangirl out and just tell you how much I loved it. So I didn't ramble on the whole video, but it was great. Like, when I was at Barnes & Noble, I picked it up because I follow Swoon Reads, and I'd seen everything about it, and I was like, okay, I have to get a Swoon Reads book. And like, I didn't know what to expect, so when I did read it, I was like, holy crap, like, it was so good.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh, you're welcome. No, I loved it. It was great. I was like running around the house and stuff, like, so happy. It was one of the first books in a while to make me like actually laugh and smile and stuff.
Oh, good.
Because and I don't know, some people, they say they have like all sorts of emotions when they read, and like people catch them crying and laughing, and I just sort of have a straight face when I read, so when I do laugh out loud, I'm like, okay, you've done a really good job, because normally I don't express anything. Yes. Yeah, it was so funny. It was great.
I try not to have it be too serious all the time. I like my books to have some humor.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts about it. Like, the scene with Caitlin and Adrian when they got out the tub or whatever, and they were arguing because she was all upset, and they were finally gonna kiss, and I was like, okay, here. And then you just made it perfect with her like running around the room like, okay, no, you can't kiss me anymore. I was like, okay, that was perfect. That was so.
I think some people read that scene seriously, like
Yeah.
missed the humor or missed the tone somehow. So I'm glad some people got that. That's good, because it was supposed to be funny. So
I totally got it. I loved it. Awesome. I loved it. I liked that it was there's so many serious scenes like that where it builds up and it just happens and you're like, okay, but to just make it so different, I really appreciated, because I love where it's not so structured like, every other book where it's sort of the same like layout of the book. A lot of dystopians do that, and that's sort of my trouble with dystopian sometimes. Ugh. Okay, well, you want to go ahead and start then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Have my little planner here of things I need to do. Okay, so for anyone, 2 viewers, okay. For anyone tuning in, I'm Isabel. You can call me Izzy. That's why it's Izzy's Reading Corner, to make it easier for you all. This is my booktube channel, and I am here today with the wonderful author of Velvet, Temple West. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Temple West, author of Velvet and guest of Isabel on the Book Academy and Izzy's Reading Corner. So, yeah.
Yes, thank you. And it's with an A, not an O. I hate to confuse people, but you know, Instagram, they don't let you use your same name, so I kind of had to wing it. But I thought the O was cool. Maybe when I'm old enough, I'll go actually get it changed. Make everyone's life easier. So I thought that for people who may be watching and haven't read it yet, you could sort of explain what the book was about.
Yes. Yes. It is a young adult novel, so it's about teenagers. And it's about this girl who has recently experienced some pretty heavy losses in her life. Her father died when she was young, and her mother has just died of cancer. So she's sent to go live with her aunt and uncle, whom she's never met before. And she's just sort of in this dark, bitter place. You know, she's 16, and everyone seems to die on her, which is not very fun for anyone. So shortly after moving to this new town, there's this crazy storm, and she can't remember what happened to her during the storm, and later finds out that she was rescued by her next door neighbor, who turns out to be an interesting character. No, who turns out to be a vampire. I don't think that's a huge spoiler to reveal that. And that it wasn't a coincidence that all this happened, and that she is in danger now because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's all about him protecting her and also being unable to protect her in some ways. So there's that kind of tension going on. And maybe there's some chemistry and love and stuff.
Maybe just a little bit of romance. Yeah,
just a wee bit, you know, some witty banter.
Not gonna spoil anything for you guys. No, but awesome. So I got finished telling Temple this, but to anyone joining in, I absolutely love the book. I thought it was fantastic. It's definitely one of my favorites, and one of my favorite books probably that I've read this year and in a while. Just gave me so many emotions that I really haven't had reading a book in a while, like laughing, and actually having fun reading a book. Not that I don't enjoy it, but to actually read a book and say like, okay, I had fun reading that book is sort of a different experience from reading some books. So I thought we could jump into some questions that I sort of had from me that I created, and then I have some that are sort of playing off of the book.
Okay.
And in case I ran out of questions, just some fun ones at the end. But I don't think we'll have that problem. I went sort of crazy, making sure I was covered.
Awesome.
Number one, when did you start writing this book?
I started writing it when I was 19, and I'm 25 now. It came out this year. I thought it was published last year. So I was a freshman in college, and just decided to start writing it. So the first draft I finished in 6 months, but then it was another 6 years before it was published. So interesting time frame.
Yeah, that basically sums up the process for any of you who are wondering sort of how long it takes to really write a book. I hear that often, and it scares me because I've tried writing mine and I can't get through a paragraph, and I'm like, these people, they spend 6 years after writing it. I don't know how they do it. 2, what was your experience writing this book? How long did it take you? Things sort of like that.
My experience writing it was, especially with the first draft, I would just sort of wing it, which is not how you're supposed to write a book, I hear, but that's how I did it. I would come home from class with a new idea for a scene and write that scene in one chunk, and then kind of just kept doing that for something like 22 chapters, which meant that the first draft was 150,000 words, which is like more than twice the length it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's still pretty long at, I think it's 114,000 words, so still a decently lengthy book, especially for YA. But it also let me just sort of let the characters take me where they wanted to go. So it's has a bit more of a stream of consciousness feel than a lot of other YA books. And that's definitely going to become more structured in the next 2 books, less sort of meandering, because now that more of the world has been established and we know what the characters need to do and go after, that'll become a little bit more compact, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I actually liked the flow of the book. I felt it went very well. It didn't feel very detached. Like, it had a nice flow to it. So when you went from that much and managed to still get it to work, that's
good.
Yeah. And that's a lot of words, but you look at Outlander and stuff like City of Friendly Fire, and I think you did really well chopping it down. How much were you involved in the production and promotion of the book, such as the covers and trailers?
It really depends on what it is. So in terms of getting the book into stores, like into Barnes & Noble or onto Amazon or stuff, that's entirely the publisher. They have whole teams of people who pitch the books to different stores and stuff like that to actually get it on shelves and list it online and stuff like that. As far as the cover design, they have the community vote on the top, I think, 5 designs that their design team comes up with. And at the beginning, I was asked if I had any specific style I wanted, and I told them, and that was definitely reflected in especially the final cover that was chosen. I wanted something really simple and graphic, and I think that they really did a great job with that. It looks beautiful. And then as far as the trailers and stuff went, that is just stuff I wanted to do on my own. So I wrote the scripts for those. I hired the actors. I hired the production team and got to direct them as well. So that was really fun. It was just sort of a awesome little side project to kind of bring the story to life a little bit and give you some little teasers for what the story looked like in my mind, at least. So yeah.
Awesome. I love the book cover and I loved the trailers. I didn't actually know you did those, so very good job. They were very cool. I liked that they showed very mysterious scenes that you're like, okay, I want to read that, but they didn't reveal too much.
Right. I didn't want them to have spoilers, but I wanted them each to sort of ask a question of, what has just happened before and what is about to happen after we cut to black. So hopefully that succeeded.
Yeah, they were some of my favorites. I struggle with book trailers. I thought they were very well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What scene was the most fun for you to write?
I have several. I like the Halloween scene because that's just something that I got to kind of put in whatever I wanted. I got to invent that whole party, which was great. It's kind of what I wish a high school party had been like for me or something. I don't know, maybe not high school, maybe more of a college party, but I don't know. But that and the tub scene, the shower scene. I mean, that's just fun.
I know, that was great.
I can't say more about that, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anytime they get to snuggle, I just really liked writing those ones because they're like cute but awkward and kind of uncomfortable but funny. So those are my favorite moments in the story. Is like when they're just when you think it's about to get really serious or about to get something, and instead they kind of just make a joke about it instead, and those are my favorites.
I think one of my favorites like that. I love the scene where they're in the car and they have so many deep talks in the car, and then they have the one where he confesses to being this huge Potterhead, and it just sort of came out of nowhere. It was amazing.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. It was funny. Go down the list. Okay, this is one that I've sort of been curious about. Do you consider Adrian to be sort of that perfect boyfriend or yours, or after sort of creating and writing him, is it more like, okay, this is my child now, like now that I've written him?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I haven't gotten that before. Since I have a boyfriend, I don't think I could consider him. I don't know what my boyfriend would say about him being my book boyfriend. It does seem a little incestuous for him to be my book boyfriend as well, since I did in fact create him. So I feel, ooh, that's weird. I guess I'd have to be more his mother than anything. Yikes. Yes.
That's probably
Now I
the
feel
weirdest
uncomfortable.
question. I felt weird about asking it, but I've seen so many authors and they're like they talk about how much of like a hunk their character is and stuff, and I'm like, well, you made the character, so that's sort of, I don't know. I've always wondered.
No, that's a really interesting question. I mean, I obviously I wrote him in a way I mean, I find him attractive in my mind, but I also like he's for Caitlin. He's, you know, they're meant to be together. So it's even as a character, he's off limits. I don't know. Yeah.
That's how I feel about like all the books I've read. I'm like, I loved you together, but I also really like you. So if you dump her, like that's fine. Just
that'd be like me trying to steal Mr. Darcy from Elizabeth. Like that's just a no. No, they are meant to be.
Meant to be. I actually just finished reading that. That was my summer reading. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a good. Obviously, it's a good book.
It was really good. What is something people don't know about you that you wish they did?
I wish they did.
Without giving too much to some of those like internet stalkers.
Yes. Oh man. I am quite short. I don't know. That's not interesting. Oh gosh.
It doesn't have to be interesting.
People don't know about me. Well, I don't know if this is any more interesting, but I have pretty much nonstop dyed my hair different colors for a decade, for 10 years. Like it's been almost every color of the rainbow. I've never been like straight up green before, but I have been like turquoise. So that's probably my next color, you know, just forest green everywhere.
I love everything you've done. They're really cute. I'm trying to get my mom to let me dye mine, and she doesn't want to ruin my like luscious locks or whatever. So,
well, the nice thing about a lot of the dyes now is that they're semi-permanent. So if you don't bleach your hair, the color will often wash out in a couple months. So you should tell her that, because
that's the trick. Somebody told me about a really good one the other day that's not bad for your hair, and so I'm gonna look into that one and see.
Yes. I use Manic Panic a lot, so
that's it. Manic Panic.
Yep. I think they're vegan. I think.
Sounds good. I'll try them out. What was the most memorable part of this whole experience, or while you were writing the book?
I mean, definitely the day that I got the call that my book was going to be published. That was pretty fantastic. Like, I don't know that there's any better feeling than having someone call you and tell you that your childhood dream has just come true. So very little compares to that experience. And then probably seeing the cover, even just the cover options for the first time was like, oh gosh, this is real. And then holding the book in my hands for the first time was, I think those are pretty universal author moments of like, oh, whoa, that's cool. But yeah, there's nothing quite like it.
Awesome. I hope to one day get to have that feeling, but I have to write it first. That's sort of coming. That's on its way. I can't see, so I'm trying to go down this list. We're gonna skip that one because I sort of already asked that one. People have asked you about the book being turned into a movie and who you would want to like to see cast. In general, movie-wise, how would you want the movie done? What scenes would you want them to keep, and what would be open to change?
Interesting. Okay, well, one of the things I love Kat Graham. She plays Bonnie on The Vampire Diaries, and she is also Black. And technically, you know, on the cover, Caitlin is portrayed as Caucasian, and I kind of throughout the editing process, I kept editing out descriptions of Caitlin's physical appearance because it just never felt natural for her to describe herself until we got to the last draft and the book was printed, and I realized I'd cut out every single reference to what she looks like. So technically, I never actually say what she looks like. So in that sense, I would, if it got made into a movie, I would want the most appropriate actress to play her regardless of race. Like whoever she is, if she can do justice to the character, that's who I want playing her.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then in terms of style, one of the best YA adaptations I've seen recently is The Maze Runner. So that it's got that kind of balance of, it's got humor, but it's also really well paced and beautifully shot and has an amazing cast.
Yeah.
So I definitely like it to have that sort of care done to it. So yeah.
I think that's great. So many people get upset, especially like with the Mortal Instruments TV show coming, that people didn't look like who they were and they were so focused on that. And my thing was, you know, I'd like them to look like them, but I'd much rather them play their character to who they are than to look like anything. I want to see my character more than I want to see, you know, their hair or their eye color.
Get someone who can do the character well. The rest is details.
Yeah. How has working on the second book been going?
It's good. I am really excited to sort of let these characters grow up a bit and let them start making more difficult and mature decisions and seeing the world expand. I don't want to say too much, but it's been good and it's exciting. I'll just leave it at that.
Awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait. It's killing me.
Me too.
Yeah. What is it like having the book out, and how have things changed, or is it still sort of surreal and sinking in?
It's obviously been awesome having the book out. It's kind of a sense of relief as well. Like there was so much marketing that I wanted to do before the book was out and all that. So now that it is out, I can kind of almost let it roll on its own while I'm working on book 2. So that's good. Good. I said good and great at the same time. Good. And
Sing your word. It's fine.
Oh man, it's been a rough day.
After that hour, just trying to get this over.
Technical difficulties are the best. Love them so much. Yeah. So yeah, it's been obviously fantastic to walk into a bookstore and see your book on the shelf.
That's awesome. What scenes or characters are the hardest to write, and which ones are the easiest?
Hardest ones are when Adrian, or anyone, but it's often Adrian in the book, is explaining something to Caitlin. It's really difficult to make that not seem like an essay or like super boring, or unnatural, because they have pages and pages of conversation about her kind of getting up to speed on this supernatural world. And those were the ones that were most heavily edited because it just read like bullet points of, here is information about vampire world. So that was really difficult to make it sound natural and interesting at the same time. So hopefully I'm starting to get better at that.
Yeah. Maybe if you just put it in a separate book and have everyone go read it, you wouldn't have to explain it anymore.
Yeah, I'll just do like a companion book. It's like there's like rules and mythology of Adrian's family.
They have like the Percy Jackson Greek gods or like the Shadowhunters Codex and all that. She's just like, here, go learn it yourself. I don't have time to explain.
That's clever. I should do that.
As soon as I finish writing book 2.
Yeah. It's a slightly more important work to start and finish and all that.
Yeah. Who needs a second book though?
Yeah.
Is there any character that you find it easy to get into the mindset of?
Weirdly, Lucian. Mostly because he's just he's very in the moment. There's not a lot going on. Like, he doesn't think about the future or the past very much. He's very present. So it's just like he observes something and then states it. So in a way, he's very sort of, what's the word? Yeah, just present to any scene he's in. So it's easy to write him. And Trish, I think he just says something kind of sassy, and I generally like her lines the best.
Yeah.
So
she was a lot of fun. Do you have a process for writing that is very laid out and structured, or are you more sort of all over the place when you write?
I am so all over the place. It's not even funny. Yeah. Like I said, the first time or the first book, I just had no idea what I was doing. I just wrote the book. And that worked for that book. But with a second book, you can't really do that because you've already established things and now you have to build on them and pay off things that you set up in the first book and all that stuff. So it's a completely different writing process, which I didn't know, obviously, going into a second book because I've never written a sequel to something before. So that's taken some getting used to, definitely.
Yeah. Who is Caitlin to you, and how did you create her? Who was your girl when you were writing the books?
Caitlin was definitely an extension of myself when I first wrote her. Her anger and depression is something I've experienced before, not through the death of a parent or anything close to that, but just through other life events. And so I wanted to explore a character who starts out pretty rough and then learns how to deal with stuff in a constructive way and struggles with that, but eventually does do that. That was, I wanted her to feel real as much as possible.
She felt very real, and sort of that teenage angst in the beginning when I was reading it. It was one of the times where I've read it and it wasn't annoying, because sometimes when there's so much of that, it's like, okay, can this character sort of develop? But just with her background, it felt very like, and being a teenager, like, no, this is how I would feel. This is how she would feel. It's sort of perfectly normal. It's okay.
Good. I'm glad that came across.
Yeah. I was super excited when I saw the Tim Gunn reference in the first sentence of the book. I'm a huge Project Runway fan, so I was wondering, do you watch the show, or is that just sort of a part of Caitlin's character?
Oh, I watch it all the time. I hate reality TV, like with a passion. I hate it. But
I hate it too.
The one show that I watch that's technically reality TV, I guess, is Project Runway, because it's so fascinating, and I love what they create, and I love following their creative process and seeing them make this stuff in such a mind-bogglingly short amount of time. Like what they're able to do when they're kind of backed up against a wall almost is amazing. So I love that show.
I know, it's my favorite, and that's the show my family and I watch. And my dad had the same reaction as you. He's like, I can't even sew in like a week, and these people pull it out in 14 hours. It's crazy.
It's absurd.
Do you watch it frequently, or is it just sort of on and off? Are you like caught up with everything?
I usually watch it a little bit late on Hulu, and then so I'm usually a week or two behind. But I'm usually pretty good about watching it. I haven't been this year as much, but I am going to catch up.
That's what happened to me in Top Chef. We sort of parted ways, but I'm trying. Okay. What kind of research went into writing these books, or more specifically, the vampire's background and origin story?
Interesting question. Research. Well, the original inspiration came from references to the Nephilim, and I think that's how you pronounce it. I've never actually heard anyone else say that word out loud, in the Old Testament of the Bible. And that, through the writing process, that got shelved. That is no longer what the vampires are. But that definitely made me ask the question of what is the mythology of vampires, and how is it different than it's been portrayed in other popular fiction. And so that made me actually think about some philosophy questions, sort of, and especially with origins and story stuff. I don't want to say too much because that really comes into play in books 2 and 3. Let's just say I researched different mythologies and religions, and
that happened.
Blended a lot of stuff that will come into play.
I like that. That's cool. I was interested in it because I didn't know if it was sort of just like vampires and this is the world, or if there was a lot more research that went into it, since everyone sort of creates their own background and stuff, or if it was sort of a more in general Like, this is vampires. Like,
well, I tried to find the balance between playing off of quote unquote traditional mythology from, freaking, what's his name? Castle, pointy, teeth, cape, Dracula.
yeah.
Sorry, totally blanked on that for a second. From, Dracula through Lost Boys, through Twilight, through Vampire Diaries, like all these different takes that are pretty popular, as well as inserting something new. So keeping it familiar, but also bringing something new to it.
I thought the demon element was a really nice twist, just because I haven't really seen those combined except for in one other story. So it was nice to read something very different from those other very similar sort of vampire origins and stories.
Awesome.
Okay, so these are the ones that are sort of playing off the book.
Okay.
Adrian offered to take you to and from school. Would you say yes or no?
If he's got a Harley, and yeah, I might have asked around a little bit more than Caitlin did about, like, is this dude a creeper?
Yeah. Before you get on the motorcycle.
Should I be frightened of him? But yes, probably I would have said yes. Mostly because of the motorcycle.
Yeah. He's too cute not to. How would you react to finding out vampires, demons, etc. were real?
That's a hard question, because do I answer that question being the me that has read so many vampire books and all that, or is it the me that I'm envisioning in a world where those books don't exist? Yeah. So I would probably have a lot of questions to verify whether or not I was being fooled or not. And otherwise, I don't know how to answer that question. I'd have to actually be in that situation, I think, to know how I'd respond.
Caitlin's reaction was one of my favorites, because she didn't get really freaked out. She was just kind of like, okay, but tell me everything. Like, I don't understand, but okay. Yeah. Would you confront Jenny and Mark about the kitchen incident or spy on them?
I might have casually tried to ask Jenny about it, and then if that didn't work, I probably would have just spied on them, because I probably wouldn't have been good enough friends with Jenny to just, like, straight up confront her about it.
Yeah.
That would have been awkward for me. So, yeah.
Make your own dress for the dance or buy a dress?
Oh man, if I had the time and much better sewing skills, I would definitely make my own dress. Well, and my mom actually made her own dress for one of the dances she went to in high school, and then I wore it recently to an event because she still had the dress. So I kind of feel like that's almost like I made my own dress, but not, because my mom did. And
it's in your blood.
Yeah. So.
Well, then, follow-up question, since you actually do watch the show, which Project Runway designer would you have make it for you?
Oh, Michelle. I'm blanking on her last name. She was a couple seasons ago. She had, like, a lot of, like, almost armor-esque pieces that she did over, like, heavy wool coats and stuff. It was not steampunk, but it had a little bit of, like, Russian punk feel to it.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was just just the most interesting but still feminine designs. They were really cool. I literally wanted to buy the entire collection when it showed on the show.
There are so many people. Yeah, there are so many people. I'll have to go look her up, but that seems like the coolest dress or person to make my dress.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah.
Or is amazing.
I want Keeney to make my dress, so I wouldn't have to wait, because he was fantastic.
He was fast, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the one that would get stuff done in like a day, and everyone's in the room going.
And
like,
it's beautifully made. Yeah, and like well tailored. And yeah.
He was the umbrella guy that made the big black umbrella for the rainway or whatever it was.
Oh,
that was
okay.
him. He was really awesome. He lost, but he lost a fringe. I was like, seriously, really? Oh. If you could live forever, what would you spend your time doing?
Learning new things and traveling.
Really?
I think it'd actually be really interesting to, like, go if you had eternity and you're on Earth, you're stuck on Earth, to go start new lives in different places and live there as long as you could get away with it. Because if you're not aging, then obviously you can only stay there a certain amount of time. But then just like learn the language, learn the history, learn the mythology of that culture, and then like write it down in a big book. But then keep doing that every 10 years, and eventually live in every country, in every people group, learn every language, and just like be the coolest historian ever.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd spend it reading or if I would go like take all the college courses I want, like get every degree I want until I had everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can do college that many times. It's not that it's not that fun right now, so
start your own college.
Yeah, open up your own school. We don't have any tests here, sorry. That's what I would do. So how much time do we have left?
A bit of time.
Okay. I have 5 sort of quick ones. Is that okay? Or
of course, yeah.
Okay. These were some that I sort of pulled from different like booktube tags and stuff that booktubers do that are a lot of fun. Do you have a certain place at home for reading and writing?
Ooh, yes. Either the kitchen or like huddled in blankets on my bed with like candles. I like to be cozy. Or near food.
Yeah. Is that what the kitchen's for? Just food?
Yeah. Oh, it's got better lighting too. But it's also got the food, which is more important than the lighting. So
you can't be bothered to get up to go get food when you're writing something important.
Just reach over, grab some pizza, whatever is nearby.
Yeah. What attributes do you find most attractive in male or female characters?
Cleverness, especially finding unusual ways to get out of tricky situations. I love the sort of MacGyvers, if you will, of the protagonist world. Protagonists who are what is the word I'm looking for? Who don't always look to others to solve their problems. They at least try to do something,
Yeah.
And even if they fail at it, they try. Protagonists who just wait on everybody else the whole book or movie or whatever just drive me a little crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then also I love the protagonist who is like beaten down to such a level that you think like there's no way they can either survive or maintain their sense of humanity or win in any way, and yet they still find some small kernel of hope and sort of doggedly continue on and then inspire others to also either join them or do this, find hope or whatever. Brandon Sanderson does that really well in pretty much every book he's ever written. So I'm like a hero addict to his stories because he does that so amazingly well.
Yeah, I bought Mistborn the other day and I want to start it, so I'm excited.
That was the first series of his I read. I've recently consumed like everything else he's written, including like the novellas, because he's, oh my gosh, he's so good as a writer. So yes, you will not be disappointed.
Good. Or that'd be a waste of like my $5 for it. Speaking of those characters, when you ever have the chance, you should read Daughter of Deep Silence by Carrie Ryan.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that.
She's very clever, and the book is her like revenge plot, and so she's that character that like after the beginning where she explains like everything that sort of happened to her, you're like, okay, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Like I'd probably curl up in a ball and cry. And then it switches like 3 years later or something, and she's like, I'm going to get my revenge. No one will stop me. And that's the whole book. She's so awesome. It was a great book.
That sounds awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I've written it down. I will check it out.
Sounds good. Good. I hope you like it. Hope so.
No, I've heard of that. I've heard of the title before, but I have not. I didn't know what it was about, so that's good to know. That sounds fun.
I was very pleasantly surprised. It was awesome.
Sweet.
Your least favorite book of all time. Let's say that you're hanging out at the library when global warming explodes and the world outside becomes a frozen wasteland. You're trapped and your only chance for survival is to burn a book. What is the book you first run to? Your least favorite book of all time. What book do you not fully regret setting on fire?
Oh man, that's such a dangerous question to ask an author. We're not supposed to talk bad about each other. Can I say like a math book?
Yes.
Like my math textbook? Any math text book. Any talk. Textbook. It just ignites sort of like a rage in my soul when I stare at math problems.
Yeah.
So I would.
Sorry, if you can hear me, it froze a little, so I'm trying to see if it'll catch up. Not again.
It was doing so well.
Okay, I got it. It's just still a little shaky, but let's see if it'll work. Yeah, I'd burn a math book too. That's my least favorite subject, and if I could quit it, I would. It's horrible. Oh gosh. I'm in gosh, what is it called? Geometry right now, and it's not shapes. It's horrible. They lied to me. Okay, is it frozen? Okay.
They lied to you.
Yeah, they did. They lied. Is it frozen? Okay. Is it working for you?
It's a little delayed, but it seems to be mostly back.
Okay, it just came back. I was like,
although maybe we should wrap it up soon since it seems to
okay.
be returning to its evil glitchiness.
Yeah, let's do you want to go ahead and close now or try and okay. I think we should go ahead and try and close it up, and I will save those for next time. Let's see if it'll unfreeze so I can talk.
Awesome.
Okay. So, figure we save those for next time if we're still on for next week. That work? Still a little frozen.
No.
Am I delayed on your end?
You were. You're back now.
Okay. Okay. I can hear you. Okay. It's working a little. Gonna hurry up before it messes me up again. Okay.
Okay.
So, thank you so much for this interview. It was awesome. I enjoyed getting to talk to you.
You as well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, guys, thank you so much for coming and watching and being a part of this, watching me fangirl a bit too much and but getting to talk about the book. So sorry that it's messed up or if it glitches or if it's a little confusing. We were having some troubles, but hopefully you can find it and you're able to watch it or you can enjoy watching it again. So thank you guys again so much. Thank you, Temple.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Sorry, it froze.
I know. And I will see you all next time. So thank you. Bye. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
It is. Especially across Google Hangout.
Yeah. Well, we probably won't be able to get it to work again.
Probably not. Goodness. Goodness, Google Hangout. Must you be so ornery?
Okay. Bye.
Bye.